Hey, Jason here, and this is my first time doing a live stream, so bear with me if the quality is not the greatest. And today is going to be something I'm going to be doing every single week, each Thursday. Now, sometimes it may be here on YouTube, sometimes it may be on TikTok, so bear with me until I get everything situated. And why do these lights look so? Okay, we're just going to go with this today. And so this is Thursday's Visioneering. It's nighttime here for me in South Africa. And just to let you know, this is something that for the last 2 years I've been writing what I'm going to read to you. This is one of the books that I had printed out. Had about 4 of them, had to burn some of them. That's just something I do after I finish usually my journal and scripting. And what I wanted to do instead of actually journaling and scripting it this time, I wanted to go through it and read it with you to give you an opportunity to get some benefit from it. And so hope you enjoy this. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and let's go ahead and get into Visioneering. So this is Visioneering by Genevieve Behrend, and this is her excerpt of one of her books. The exercise of the visualizing faculty keeps my mind in order. I'm sorry, let me read it just like the pages, because usually I read it first person so people know it's just me. The exercise of the visualizing faculty keeps your mind in order. Now, this is really crucial because a lot of us do not practice order in our mind. And this is something school has never taught us. Maybe unless you went to one of those special, exceptional schools. I didn't get that benefit in America going to one of those. So let me know if you did. And if they taught you this, kudos to you and shout that school out. Then it said, and attracts to you what you need to make your life more enjoyable and in an orderly way. And really look at people and ask yourself some of these questions too with your own personal life. Is everything you're doing in an orderly way? Or you ever rushing? Or you're ever in a hurry? Or you ever scattered brain where you're forgetting things and stuff like that? Because it may mean you're not using your visualizing faculty to get something done. And I'm going to tell you, I've been guilty of this for a very long time, yo. Let's say I went to the military at 18. I will say from 18 up to 36 years old, 35, 36. I was not living in an orderly way. I was living a very destructive life. And a lot of times we think destruction means drugs, alcohol, or just out here in the streets doing things horrible. Sometimes destructive is being in our comfort zone, not taking action and doing the things that we need to do to move us to where we want to be. And so then she says, if you train yourself in the practice of deliberately picturing your desire and carefully examine your picture. Now, what does she mean here by if you train yourself in the practice of deliberately picturing your desire? Now, she's talking about using one of our higher faculties, which is the imagination. Now, a lot of us think daydreaming and all of these things are just, oh, you're just off in la la land, you're doing nothing, you're just being lazy. However, that is one of the things that separate us from the animal kingdoms. As spirits in this human form, we do not act on an animalistic nature. Yes, society may have animalistic parts to it, but as each individual human, we do not act on an animalistic nature, meaning we don't have instincts when we're born into the world. This is why it takes so long for us as humans in this human experience to actually start developing the skills to where we can be on our own. The average animal needs maybe a couple of weeks to a month. We need 18 years, sometime more than that. And this is the reason why, because we've not been taught to use our higher faculties. And if you go back to pre-K, kindergarten, first, second, and third grade, you'll start seeing they started crippling our imaginations at a very young age. And what I mean by that, draw inside the lines, draw this image. They gave you very directed guidelines to do. And if you did anything outside of that, you were doing the wrong thing or you were punished. Like if you was using your imagination in school, thinking about something that you want to do in your life or something that makes you happy, they'd be like, oh, why are you daydreaming? And then you would get punished, get a detention or get a bad mark on your report card or your daily attendance, something like that. These are small things that society, whether it's ignorance or by choice, it's been breaking us down from our spiritual side. And so we have to regain or retrain ourselves to use our spiritual powers. And so, and by examining your picture, meaning keep thinking about it. Keep thinking about what it is you want. Have you ever dreamed about going on a cruise or something like that? What islands do you want to go to? What are you going to do on deck? Are you going to be in the pool? What pictures are you going to take? Like, start holding that picture in your mind. And I'm going to share with you later some of the ways that you can hold pictures in your mind. And then from there, she says, you will soon find that your thoughts and desires proceed in a more orderly procession than ever before. And what that means is, have you ever had one of those moments where you really, really wanted something in life and just everything just seemed to line up for you, just laid itself out perfectly. And it was like smooth riding for you, just like, yo, this is working well. And I'll give you a personal example of that. When Cece is my late wife, in case you've never seen the channel before. She's my late wife who passed away last year. When we first decided to leave the United States and live a life of a nomadic life and living abroad, we didn't have all the money necessary we didn't have the money to buy a return ticket. We didn't have the money to, if something went wrong, how to come back. And everything just went smooth for us. When we went through the airport, the airline ladies at the counter, they were so caught up on our cats, they didn't even ask us to prove that we had a return ticket. When we went through immigration in Panama at the time, they didn't even ask us to have proof of a return ticket. All of these things just laid out for us, and it worked out perfectly. And it was because we was holding that image of leaving America and going to a different country. And this country just happened to be Panama. And so from there, she says, having reached the state of ordered mentality, you are no longer in a constant state of mental hurry. And this is really key, especially this second part. So listen to this part carefully. Hurry is fear and consequently destructive. Now, really think about that. Have you ever seen someone on the road driving and they was in such a hurry? They were driving destructive, I bet you, because they were probably swerving in and out of the lanes. They were speeding. I'm guilty of this. So I know this line right here is 100% truth, because I used to do it when I had my Firebird Trans Am. If I was angry, I'd be on the highway, probably going like 180 miles an hour, just crazy. And I didn't realize I was being destructive, not only to myself, but I was being destructive to other people around me. And so hurry is fear and consequently destructive. So whenever we're in a hurry moment, we're actually in a fearful state, meaning we're probably doing something that could be potentially destructive to us. So we want to focus and realize when we're in those type of moments and get back into an ordered mentality. And so then from there, she says, in other words, when your understanding grasp the power to visualize your heart's desire and hold it with your will. Now, what is heart's desire? A lot of times people use these big words, use these thought-provoking words, but they don't tell you what it really means. What do you want in your life? That is your heart's desire, not what someone else wants for you. What do you want? And start thinking about that, because we've always been taught, listen to other people. Other people can guide you in a better way. No one can guide you when it comes to what you want for your life. Only you can do that. You know how many people in America was telling me, don't go to South Africa. Don't go to Johannesburg. It's the worst place in the world. It's dangerous. It's nothing but criminals. They're going to kidnap you here from the airport. You know how many people told me that? And this was the one place in the world that I needed to be able to heal from the passing of my wife unexpectedly overnight. Like, Johannesburg has helped me grow emotionally and spiritually so much in these last 7 months. And everyone was telling me not to come here. No one can understand your heart's desire. When your heart's desire speaks to you, you need to follow it, because only you knows that. And this is one of the things a lot of us don't understand. Our parents don't understand it. Sometimes our spouses don't understand it. Our friends don't understand it. And guess what? They don't need to understand it. Only you need to understand it and follow through with it. And then from there, she says, it attracts to you all things requisite to the fulfillment of that picture. by the harmonious vibrations of the law of attraction. Now we're getting into spiritual magic here, is what I like to call it. We're talking about the universal laws. We're talking about speaking at our core, our essence. The biggest mistake that most of us have fallen for in this world is we believe we're human beings. We're not human beings. We are spirits having a human experience. And because of that, if we don't start using our spiritual energy, we're not using the law of attraction or the spirit magic to actually bring us the things that we want. And so the biggest thing here is it says the harmonious vibrations. For something to be in harmony means it resonates. It doesn't mean, oh, I want this, but I'm out here doing something different. So let me give you an example of that. For about 15 years of my life after the military, I wanted to be healthier. I wanted to be able to walk. I wanted to be able to do all these things. So after the Iraq war, my health really declined. I was over 600 plus pounds. That's 300 plus kilos if you use the metric system. But not only that, I was sick, yo. I was sick. I was literally on my deathbed. A lot of people don't know that I had a cardiac event at 28. I had lost sensation in my left leg below the knee after I had a spinal fusion. So I have 10 screws in my back at the S1, S2, L4, L5 area. And on top of that, I was dealing with mental health issues from going to war. So everything around me was telling me that I couldn't do it. But I kept saying, oh, I want to do it. But I was not in harmonious vibration with becoming healthier. And what do I mean by that? I kept just being a negative person. I couldn't find anything to be happy for. You know, even the little bit of walking that I could do, I was just mad and I was just cursing all the time. The little bit of hours that I got sleep, you know, I was just angry. Like, oh, why I just get 2 hours? I wasn't grateful for anything in my life. And at that time, I was living in a beautiful 4-bedroom house. We had a jacuzzi outside, which was lovely in the wintertime. We had a sauna. We had a beautiful backyard gazebo, beautiful big yard, 2-car garage, had another 2-car carport in the back, storage shed, you know, beautiful house, yo. Even had my bathroom custom done for free from the VA. And I still wasn't grateful for none of that. None of these things I was grateful for. Had so much work done on the house from my cousin Victor, you know, rest in power. He was doing so much work for me when we first got the house, helped me put up backdrops, subway tile backdrops that was metallic, helped me put in a new stove, everything. And I was not grateful for any of these things. And I was still expecting somehow to get healthier. Now let's fast forward to when I left the United States and went to Panama. I started taking things more serious because, like, when you get out of your environment and you start seeing like the things you took for granted, such as central AC, because it was so hot. Like, yo, Panama was like 40 degrees every day. I say about anywhere from 95 to maybe 100 degrees. Like, it was hot, yo. It was really hot. A cool day for us was 80 degrees. And so when I started realizing the things that I was taking for granted in my life, I started showing more gratitude. Now, on top of that, by showing gratitude for the things I no longer had, guess what that made me do? I started walking. I started getting out of the house. I started moving around. And then before I knew it, I started changing my eating lifestyle. Then I started changing my routine as far as how am I thinking about my health? I started studying health. What does it mean to be healthy? And I went on it was such I think I was studying about anywhere from 12 to 16 hours a day for well over 2 years. Like, if I could get a book, if I could get on a seminar, I was watching documentaries all over again. I became a harmonious vibration for someone who was healthier. And let's fast forward now. Look at me now. I'm at 113 kilos that I weighed in today. I'm no longer using a CPAP machine to breathe. I no longer have any cardiac issues. I can walk fully. I have just about complete sensation back into my left leg below the knee. My depression is very manageable now. It's still there. However, I'm not in crippled depression for months or years at a time. My anxiety is a lot manageable. Joburg is a huge city. I couldn't have lived here back then when I was that person. Like it, because I became in harmonious vibration with that, the law of attraction had to give me the one thing that I wanted because I became that thing. I was resonating with it. And so that's how I became a healthier person. Like most of us think becoming healthy is such a physical thing, it's a mental and a spiritual thing. We have to get our mind and soul in order so we can start getting the things that we want. And then from there, she says, you realize that since order is heaven's first law and visualization places things in their natural order, then it must be a heavenly thing to visualize. Like, really hear that. Let me read that again. You realize that since order is heaven's first law. Now, even if you're not a Christian or something like that, whatever that higher place is for you, like order is that law, like order. And then visualization places things in their natural order. So using your imagination and capturing the pictures of the things that you want and focusing on it start putting things in order. Remember how we talked about earlier? Sometimes things just start laying out for you and it's like a smooth sailing ride. That is why, because you're in an orderly state. Then it must be a heavenly thing to visualize. And this proves it itself. Like every time you have used this type of spiritual magic, you got the things that you want. How can it not be heavenly if you're not getting that college degree you want? How is it not heavenly when I got my health back? How is it not heavenly when I became a nomad? Like all of these things are heavenly, and that's why. And then it says, everyone visualizes. All of us do this. Most of the time, we're not aware of it. I wasn't aware of it for many years. And it says, whether they know it or not. Now, let's really focus on that. Why do most of us not know we visualize? Because we have so many distractions now in this modern world. We don't really have time to just sit and be to ourselves. And what I mean by that is, how many of us now are just scrolling through TikTok, scrolling through YouTube videos, scrolling through shorts? How many of us are just on Facebook, just reading stuff, reading comments? How many of us are watching TV as soon as we get off work? When we're watching these things, it's putting pictures in our head. And the thing that nobody tells us, most of the time we watch negative or bad pictures, meaning the show like Snap, where people killing their spouses and stuff, Law and Order, Criminal Minds, FBI, like all of these things, even shows like Survivor, stuff like this, like we're seeing things that are putting us in a fearful state. Like we have to start slowing our mind down and taking time for ourselves to visualize what we actually want to visualize and not just using the images that are put inside our head. And if you're like, oh, Jason, people don't put images in my head, think about commercials. Commercials are a prime example. If you watch TV, like I don't watch TV anymore like that. I watch streaming sites on the internet. If you watch TV and you look at a commercial, listen to it. Don't watch it. Just listen to what they're saying. Turn your head the other way and just listen to what they're saying. It will start putting fear in your mind like nothing ever before. One of the reasons why I hate visiting the US is they have very lackadaisical commercial laws. So they can actually market anything to you. And because of that, which camera am I on? Okay. I thought I switched cameras, my bad. And so because they can market anything to you, like if you just listen to the things they say, it will terrify you. Some of those prescription pills commercials, oh man, have you ever stubbed your toe? Like you might end up dying. Go ask your doctor about this pill. Like I'm making a joke and exaggerating right now, but really listen to it. And they talk about regular, everyday things that people care with. Like, have you ever had a cough for longer than a week? Have you ever felt sick? Have you had a cold? Like they really put fear into you, and it's putting that picture in your mind. And then let's continue on. Then it says after that, visualizing is the great secret to success. If you start studying successful people, and here's one of the books I'm actually reading, luckily it's right next to me. It's called Unreasonable Success and How to Achieve It by Richard Koch, or Coach, however you say his name. And it talks about different people in there, from Gandhi to Winston Churchill, Margaret Thatcher. Right now I'm reading on Steve Jobs, Walt Disney's in there. And they talk about how these people achieved great secrets of success and they visualize themselves doing it. I didn't know it, but Winston Churchill, ever since as a kid, he used to tell people, I'm going to be the prime minister. Like, that's amazing. And he became the prime minister, even when all the odds said he shouldn't be prime minister. And from there, it says the conscious use of this great power attracts to you multiplied resources, intensifies your wisdom, and enables you to make use of advantages from which you formerly failed to recognize. Now, this is really crucial because a lot of times, a lot of us think opportunity is not here around us, or it's, just not in our area. However, we're not usually able to see the opportunity that's laying around us at all times. Sometimes the opportunities may come through the one thing you didn't want, or it may come through the one person you didn't want to see, or the person you didn't even expect to see. A lot of times, our opportunities that's going to help us usually come from other individuals. However, one of the things we've been taught since kids, especially in America, the United States, I'm sorry, I don't like using the word America because it's the North and South, and Central. And so because we've been taught stranger danger, don't talk to strangers as kids, they force that programming into our minds. From birth to 7 years old, all the things that we're taught or we're told, everything that's around us is implanted straight into our subconscious mind. Once those programs go into the subconscious mind, they run on autopilot. We don't have to think to do certain things. This is why Earl Nightingale says most people do not think. And the reason being is because most of us only run on the programming that we've been installed in us up to 7 years old. And think about it. We're talking about our eating habits, your exercise habits, your hygiene habits, your social habits, your relationship habits. All of these things have been programmed in us since 7 years old, up to 7 years old. And so this is why you really want to start reprogramming a lot of the things that you learn. You want to unlearn them and relearn them. And so I'm going to end this with one of my favorite quotes because it goes hand in hand with this last part. And it says, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write. It will be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So now let's go ahead and stop being illiterate and let's start relearning some of this information that we think we know so we can start visualizing and getting the results that we really want in life. Have a great day, and I'll see you next Thursday.